Hi everyone, Lunar King here, and today we're going to be talking about some One Piece. So the discussion is going to be focused on the Yonko, the four emperors of the New World, and how they may tie into the story going forward, what their intentions may be with the One Piece and as far as being Pirate King, and pretty much what roles they may play in the future. So just to summarize, the Yonko are the four emperors of the New World, the four most influential pirates in the second half of the Grand Line, who have kind of divvied up the New World amongst themselves into territories. So the current Yonko are red-haired Shanks, Blackbeard Marshall D. Teach, Big Mom, and Kaido. And Whitebeard was a Yonko before he was usurped by Blackbeard. So they all kind of have a vast amount of influence, both over separate islands as well as different pirate crews, and it's pretty much told the pirates entering the New World that you're not going to survive unless you get a Yonko to support you. So we're not sure how specifically some of them may control the territories that they have. We know offering protection is one way they do it. Whitebeard did that for Fishman Island, and Big Mom does that in a kind of a more less honorable way. Big Mom has control of her islands by having them pay tribute, candy, to her, and if they can't pay up, she wipes out that island. The thing is, though, is that even if they do pay tribute to her and for her protection, she doesn't always kind of keep her word in protecting them. Like when her subordinates showed up to Fishman Island to collect the tribute, they didn't really give a shit that there was a civil war going on. Like they're like, that's not our business, like just give us our tribute and we'll leave. So it's kind of a little bit of a scam in her case, but she is so powerful that people just give her the tribute anyway because they don't want to get fucking blown away by this giant woman. So that's how she does it. So protection is a big way, and we know that Big Mom uses that to keep control over her territory. As far as Blackbeard was part of Whitebeard's crew, so he knew all about Whitebeard's territory. So when he usurped him, he used his knowledge to quickly take over a shit ton of what Whitebeard used to control. He just swooped in and with his crew just took over a lot of Whitebeard's former territory, so he quickly gained a shit ton of territory the moment he became a Yonko, pretty much. And Blackbeard also has Whitebeard's devil fruit, so he can create like giant tsunamis and pretty much obliterate an island. So that's gotta be a big threat from him, like just the sheer power he has is like, if anyone fucks with me, I'm just gonna wipe out your island. And then we have Kaido. We don't really know much about him. We don't know how he operates, we don't know what he looks like even, but what we do know about him is that he's forming an army of Zoan Devil Fruit type users. And that screams to me that he's probably a very militant person in how he operates, and the kind of fear he inspires from just the raw power he has. And he has a fucking army, you know, it's not just like crews and fleets of like, you know, some pirates. This is like a legit like loyal army to him that he provides the power for to them. So that screams to me that he's very militant in how he operates and probably how he protects his territories, I imagine. And the only kind of hint of this we've seen is that one of his subordinates, Scotch, the cyborg, he was stationed at one of Kaido's islands, and he was guarding it, and it was said to be one of Kaido's favorite islands. It was like a winter island. So I imagine that Kaido's army is kind of spread out throughout his territory, stationed at the islands and kind of occupying them in a way, like it kind of very just like these armies just take control. Like I kind of imagine that out of all the four emperors, he's probably the most like imperialistic, just from what we've heard about him, but I don't really have much to base that off of, just the little things like Scotch and the fact that it's a fucking army. And then we have Shanks, who we all know Shanks, at least from Luffy's flashback, or we know that Shanks is very carefree and kind, but he'll fuck you up if you mess with his friends. So I can imagine that his territory is probably made up of islands where he went, he partied, he had a good time, they had a good time, and they all became friends, and he pretty much said, I love you guys, if anyone comes after you, I'm gonna beat the shit out of them. So it's kind of more of a kind-hearted, like not threatening, and I feel like it's probably more of a personal relationship he has with the islands he protects, rather than just doing it to expand his territory. kind of in a way, kind of in the same way that Luffy is able to kind of naturally inspire friends and allies to his cause. I feel like Shanks is probably a lot like that, because him and Luffy have very similar personalities, and I kind of feel like Roger was like that too. So kind of Roger and Shanks are kind of similar, and Shanks was part of Roger's crew, so he's kind of the spiritual successor. So I imagine he's kind of more of an inspirational figure, not so much a scary one, except, you know, when you piss him off and he can immediately end a war with a snap of his fingers. So the next part of the discussion is going to be about, do the Yonko give a shit about the One Piece and about becoming king of the pirates? So we know that the Yonko have kind of been locked in this stalemate in the New World, not able to progress any further, and that's kind of propagated by both the Marines and the Shichibukai and each other, kind of. And we know that Raftel's at the end of the Grand Line, so none of them had been able to get there. But we do know that Blackbeard is wanting to become Pirate King. He wants to find the One Piece and become King of the Pirates, just like Luffy. That's his dream, that's his end game. We know that all of this is going from, you know, a nobody to a Shichibukai to now a Yonko, that he's just making his way towards becoming Pirate King. So we know at least one of the Yonko, their goal is to become Pirate King. And then we have Shanks, who he was part of Roger's crew. If anyone knows about the One Piece who's a Yonko, it's Shanks, because he had that relationship with Shanks. He had that relationship with Roger. He probably knows the most about the One Piece, but I honestly don't think he wants it, because he seems to be taking his sweet-ass time for someone who probably knows a bit about it. Like, he tends to just hang out at islands. They even say he doesn't really like to rush around. He likes to enjoy take his time. And so I feel like he probably doesn't want it. I feel like, if anything, Shanks is protecting it. Maybe that's why there's a stalemate for the most part. You know, Shanks isn't letting them get any closer to Raftel. But maybe he's just waiting because he doesn't feel he's worthy of being the Pirate King or finding the One Piece, so he's letting Luffy, he's waiting for Luffy, or waiting for someone who he feels is more worthy to become Pirate King. It makes sense with how he's kind of so carefree and just hangs out and parties on islands all day. It's too early to tell if Kaido and Big Mom are interested in becoming King of the Pirates or finding the One Piece. Kaido's definitely building that army for something. Like, there's gotta be a goal in his mind that he feels he needs an army for, and perhaps it's finding the One Piece and becoming king. As far as Big Mom becoming king, queen I should say, queen of the pirates, who knows with her yet. It's hard to say. One of the two of them might just be doing it to be powerful and to have a huge amount of influence, and maybe that's Kaido with his army. Big Mom may be interested in the One Piece, you know, especially if it's like, turns out the One Piece is like a giant piece of candy or something. Like, she'd be all over that shit. Then we also may have a big change in the Yonko coming, because Luffy told Big Mom, I'm gonna pretty much beat you, and then I'm gonna take Fishman Island from you and make it my territory under my protection. So does that mean Luffy is gonna become a Yonko? Once he beats Big Mom and he takes her part of her territory, I feel like that immediately is going to make him Yonko. Like, he's declaring, maybe not intentionally, like maybe he just wants to beat her just so he can protect Fishman Island from her stupid tributes. He may not want to be Yonko, or might not mean to become a Yonko, but he might become one when he beats Big Mom, and that would actually help him, I think, in going towards becoming king, because we've already seen in Marineford that he's able to get people to fight for him and to fight with him, and with the status of a Yonko, even more people are going to join up with him, and that could help him in pushing towards Raftel. So that's going to be interesting to see. I think we're going to see a lot of power shifts amongst the Yonko in the coming, years, with Kaido and with Big Mom still kind of on the horizon. And then, of course, eventually Blackbeard and Shanks, and whatever happens there, I feel like Shanks is going to be killed by Blackbeard's hand, because I'm in the camp that believes Blackbeard is, if not the final villain of One Piece, he's definitely one of the final villains, because he's like Dark Luffy, pretty much, and his ambitions and his characteristics. So, yeah, the Yonko are going to play a big part in the story going forward, obviously, now that we're in the New World. So we know that Gold D. Roger was king of the pirates, like, undisputed. Everyone agreed he was the king. And that's what launched when he was executed into this whole new pirate era, because people wanted to become the new big king of the pirates and find the One Piece. That begs the question, is if Luffy, let's say, becomes king of the pirates, are the four emperors just going to be gone? Because will they submit to this king? I mean, Luffy, I can't picture him being like a king and like ordering people around, because he's all about, you know, adventure and free will. So it still begs the question, though, will they still exist? Maybe some of them will die before then, but I feel like they would like cease. Like all those territories would just accept that Luffy is the king, and he won't be like, you know, a real monarchy-ish king, but I feel like they'll all kind of like cease with all this violence and fighting over trying to get to Raftel. So we'll have to see, but the Yonko are definitely going to play a big part in the story, and I mean, once there's the really big battle over Pirate King between, you know, Luffy and Blackbeard, probably that's when we're really going to see people throw down. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting going forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you weren't too bored. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.